Hi there, hope you have a fantastic day today. This lesson I will teach you how to sketch absolute value functions. Of course, there is a PDF file versions on the description below for you to download so you can work with me. Otherwise, let's go straight into it. First one, given fx is equal to x squared minus x minus 2. Sketch the graph of absolute functions of f of x. So before we do that, so first of all, let's just sketch fx is equal to x squared minus x minus 2 first. So let's just get that graph first. So to sketch the parabola, so we need to find y-intercept, x-intercepts, and turning point. Okay, three things we need to do first. Okay, so let's just find out y-intercept first. Y-intercept. That means when x is equal to 0, because it cut the y-axis. Along the y-axis, x is equal to 0. So x equals 0. So when x equal to 0, this means that f of 0, x squared, so x is 0, so it becomes 0 squared, minus x is 0, so minus 2. So that will give me negative 2. So that is the y-intercept. Now we need to find x-intercept. So x-intercept along the x-axis, that is when y is equal to 0. So let me just write this down. X-intercept. That means when y is equal to 0. So when y is equal to 0, so f of x is y. So that equals 0. If you like, so this means that 0 is equal to x squared minus x minus 2. Or I can just write like this, x squared minus x minus 2 is equal to 0. And what I do now, I solve this quadratic equation. So by doing this, we need to factorize, okay? So don't forget, this is a negative, so we should have 1 plus, 1 minus. So we have x plus and x minus is equal to 0. So two numbers times together to give me 2, and the difference, minus means difference, is equal to 1 because the coefficient of x is 1. So therefore should be 2 and 1 because the difference is 1. But then negative 1 because it's negative x. So therefore the negative should be the largest value, that is 2. So 2 here, 1 here. So now therefore x is equal to negative 1 or x is 2. So we have x-intercepts and we have y-intercept. So what we need to do now is we need to find the turning point. So the turning point, let me just write this down. Now to find the turning point, first thing we need to find the axis of symmetry first, okay? To find the axis of symmetry, we can either work out the average of the two x-intercept, because if you think about it, we have x-intercept is negative 1 and 2. So the axis of symmetry is right in the middle, okay? So this means that the axis of symmetry is x equal negative 1 plus 2. We just add these two x value divided by 2. So that give me a half. But we can only use these techniques when we have x-intercept, because in this case we have x-intercept, so therefore we can use these techniques. Otherwise, we can just use x is equal to negative b over 2a. So let's do that as well, okay? So turning point, so we find axis of symmetry. So that is x is equal to negative b over 2a. So we know that for x squared minus x minus 2, and we know a is the coefficient of x squared, so that is 1, and b is the coefficient of x, so that is negative 1, okay? In front of x is negative, so that means negative 1. And c is the constant, so c is negative 2. So negative b over 2a, so negative b over 2 lots of that. So let me just write this down. So is equal to negative, b is negative, but b is negative 1 over 2 lots of 1, because a is 1, b is negative 1, c is negative 2. Okay, so keep that in mind. So a negative and a negative give a positive, so 1 over 2, so which is a half. So there you go, it's the same as this one here. Okay, so x is equal to a half. So there you go. So we have the x value now, so we need to find the y value, because turning point, we need to have the x values and the y values, so the point x and y. Okay, so we need to find the y value, that means f of a half. So therefore a half, and we know that f of x is equal to x squared minus x minus 2. So now we just substitute the value x equal to half in. So that give me a half square minus a half and minus 2. So that give me, so I just put that on the calculator now. So that would give me, so just go 0.5 square minus 0.5 and minus 2. So there you go, negative 2 1/4 or negative 2.25. So let me just write negative 2 1/4. So therefore, the turning point or vertex, if you like, is the x is a half, and then the y values is negative 2 1/4. So now we have x-intercept, y-intercept, and turning points. So what I do now, I just get the parabola first, okay? So now we have y value, x value. So first of all, just draw the line of symmetry first. It makes it easier, okay? You don't have to, but easier, that's all. So line of symmetry is a half, roughly, doesn't really matter. So I just draw here, a half. And the turning point is a half and negative 2 1/4. So it's here roughly, doesn't matter. So it's just a rough sketch. So this is a half and negative 4 1/4. And then the x-intercept is negative 1 and 2. So roughly somewhere. So we just draw it first, okay? So just draw the graph first. So there you go. So this is negative 1 and this is 2. And this is f of x. But then we need to sketch the absolute value of f of x. So y is equal to absolute value of f of x. So this means that when the functions is negative, so all the values becomes positive. So this one here is a half and negative 2 1/4. So this means that absolute value of negative 2 1/4, it becomes positive. So we're going up here somewhere, roughly. So this should give me a half and 4 1/4. So here. So let me just get this. And the y-intercept here is negative 2. So it becomes 2. So now let me just trace the curve, and then I just remove the f of x, okay? So just trace the graph and just remove this. So there you go. So this is y is equal to absolute value of f of x. So please remember this process. Please pause the video and try this one yourself. Hi, I'm back. How do you go? So let me go through it with you, okay? Before I do that, please do not forget to give me a thumb up and subscribe if you haven't done so you can help me to grow my channel. So let's get into it. So first of all, to do this, we need to graph y is equal to negative x squared minus 2x plus 3 first. We just get this parabola first. And to get this, we need to find the y-intercept first. So y-intercept. So this means that when x is equal to 0. So when x is equal to 0, so this means that we have 0 squared, give me 0, and 2 times 0 is 0. So we left with 3. So y-intercept is equal to 3. Then step number 2, we need to find the x-intercept. So x-intercept means when y is equal to 0. In this case, y is f of x. So when f of x equals 0, so this means that negative x squared minus 2x plus 3 is 0. Now to solve these quadratic equations, so I times everything by negative first because I want to get rid of the negative in front of x squared. So I times everything by negative. So the negative x squared becomes positive. And negative 2x, it becomes positive because I times by negative 1. So 2x. And it becomes minus 3 is equal to 0. So now I just factorize this. Because of negative here, so we should have a plus and a negative. So a plus and a minus, if you like. So x plus x minus is equal to 0. So two numbers times together to give me 3, and the difference, because it's minus, is 2. So it should be 3 and 1. But because of positive 2, so the bigger number on the positive side. So that is 3, this is 1. So 3 and 1, okay? So therefore, x is equal to negative 3 and x is 1. So that is the x-intercept. Then we need to find a turning point. So let me just write this down. So first of all, to find turning point, we need to find the axis of symmetry first. So axis of symmetry, that is x is equal to negative b over 2a. Or you can just simply work out by negative 3 plus 1 divided by 2, and you should get negative 1. So otherwise, I just put that on here. So negative b from this, so I is negative 1 because it's coefficient of x squared. And b is equal to negative 2. b is a coefficient of x, okay? So negative 2. And then c is a constant, that is 3. So therefore, which is equal to negative 2 over 2 lots of a, and a is negative 1. So now we just put that on a calculator, or we can just simply work it out ourselves. So negative and negative, so 3 negative together become a negative. So there should be negative, and 2 over 2 is 1, so negative 1. Otherwise, you can just put that on a calculator. So now we have the x value, that is the axis of symmetry. So now what we do, we need to find the y value. So that will give us the turning point. So f of negative 1. That is equal to, and we know that f of x is negative x squared minus 2x plus 3. So we just substitute that in there. Every time we see x, we replace with negative 1. Okay, don't forget. So that gives me negative 1 squared minus 2, negative 1 plus 3. So that will give me negative 1 plus 2 plus 3. So that will give me 4. So therefore, the turning point is, let me just write this down. Therefore, the turning point is negative 1, 4. So now that we have y-intercept, x-intercepts, and turning point, so let me just graph the parabolas first, okay? So that is y value, or f of x, and this is x. And we know the turning point is negative 1, 4, just roughly, okay? So negative 1, 4 here somewhere. So negative 1, 4. And the x-intercepts are 1 and negative 3. So negative 3 there and 1 there somewhere. And the y-intercept is 3. So somewhere there, we just sketch it first, okay? So your graph is like this. So there you go. That is f of x. But then we need to sketch the absolute value of that. So this means that all the negative y values becomes positive value, because the absolute value of a negative number will give us a positive number. So with absolute value of this, it becomes positive. So what it does, it's just reflecting about the x-axis, if you like. So just go like that. So I can just remove this. So this is 1. And this one here, y-intercept is 3. So there you go. This is how you sketch absolute values functions. And thank you so much for watching. Bye.